Shut up and sit down.
Hello all, it's time for another review. I thought I'd give another one a go, and today we are reviewing Passengers, directed by Morten Tildum, who did Headhunters, a sort of Norwegian crime thriller, which was quite good, and also Imitation Game, which I haven't seen. It's got a script by John Spates, who did Prometheus. Well, he did the first draft of it, but let's not go into that just yet. Passengers centres around Jim, played by Chris Pratt, a engineer on a trip to a distant homeworld who basically wakes up a little early. Well, I say a little early, it's about 90 years early. Shortly after that, he's joined by Aurora, played by Jennifer Lawrence, who essentially is just as confused as he is as to why they are awake so early, and having to come to terms with the fact that essentially it's a death sentence. They are doomed on this ship to travel the stars, to never see their destination. So what can they do? They've just got to make the most of it, make the best of it. They have no one for company except for a robot bartender played by Michael Sheen, putting on his full English smooth charm. Essentially, as things progress, you sort of get the sense that this is going to be a sort of standard, two sort of people come together, romance plot. And then what happens is you get this whole adventure side of things where essentially as it would do, things go wrong with the spacecraft, and so then they have to battle to survive and fight together to keep the ship and its other sleeping inhabitants alive for the duration of the journey. Overall, put like that, Passengers is just good fun. It just kind of rattles along. It's got a nice romance plot, blah, 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 and you've got a nice bit of action. There's a lot of peril. There's a lot of sort of gravity style sort of, oh, I'm falling off a spaceship. Oh, no, I'm being rescued by so-and-so. And things are flying off and things are blowing up and buttons are squeaking and computers are going wrong and all this kind of thing. All the usual tropes of a disaster movie, a panic in space movie, it's all there, and on that, it's fine. It's a popcorn movie. You go in there, you watch a little bit of romance, you watch two charming, attractive leads do their thing, and you come away thinking, brilliant, I've had a nice time, that's lovely. Except, at the heart of the story, and I won't spoil it here, but if you've seen the trailers, I'm sure you can work it out, and I'm sure other reviews have probably spoilt this. But at the heart of the story is one moral conundrum and one action taken by one of the characters. And when that comes up, the film kind of tonally derails. It's almost like it sort of decided it was going to go dark, or it was going to go slightly creepy or slightly off kilter, a bit 10 Cloverfield Place. You sort of think you're safe, but maybe you're not. Maybe something's kind of wonky, and you think, well, maybe in the first draft of this film, that was the case. But then what happens is that it's almost like the director and the scriptwriter and everyone involved kind of goes, actually, that's a bit, I'm not entirely sure about that. Ooh, that's a bit wrong. So then what they do is they spend the rest of the film, the remainder of the film, and most of the action sequences of the film, essentially trying to course correct, which is kind of ironic given the spaceship and everything. Then what you end up with is this really tonally uneven film where you kind of feel like, I've seen a good film, I've seen a fun film anyway, a disposable popcorn film. It's not awesome, it's just a fine afternoon watch, except at the core of it is something which really makes you feel kind of icky and kind of view one of the characters in a really dark light. And if in some ways, if the film had sort of had the balls to literally follow that through and go, right, you know what, I'm going to own this, or explore the whole reasons for them being on this spaceship other than just, wanted to get away, wanted to try something new, then the film could have been a lot more interesting. There's a lot to be said for this film maybe sort of straying too far off of too far from the let's keep everything nice and 12A and nice and lovely and everyone being nice, because the problem is that core issue just could have spun off into so many interesting things. And the problem with the spaceship isn't nearly as clever as it thinks it is. I thought while watching the film, something one of the characters says to Michael Sheen's character, the robot, has caused all this. And it seems like, there's going to be a nice Asimov sort of logic problem going on with the computer and the spaceship and everything like that. And the ship kind of going wrong. Why? Well, maybe it's because this very clever logic problem. But the film just goes, it's that thing. It's not really important. Who cares why the spaceship's broken? And that kind of tone kind of follows all the way through from the second half of the film. It's kind of like, yeah, that character was a bit dodgy, but you've got to love them. Look at them. They're lovely. Look at them. They're being really sweet now. They're raiding all the stores for the colony. But everyone gets to their destination. 5,000 people wake up and go, hang on, why have we only got a loaf of bread and a chicken left? Yeah, the film's kind of not got the strength of its own convictions. It doesn't quite push itself to either explore the dark side of things, the dark side of the concept, or the sort of tone to pull it back and go, hey, actually, you know what, we're just gonna have, hey, this is fun times on a spaceship, and let's have some romance and a little bit of drama, and everyone lives happily ever after. It just can't make up its mind, and so you come away feeling like you've seen an okay film. It isn't a waste of time. You've seen two charming leads who really kind of carry the film. Were it cast differently, I suspect this film would have got a much harsher response from me. Overall, the film, tonally uneven. It's got some issues. The core issue, I really wish I could do a spoiler review of this, because to me, it bothered me, and the film spends so long afterwards trying to sort that problem out. So it's like, yeah, Passengers, I'm going to give a C. It's not terrible. It's good fun. You'll pass the time with it, but your mileage will vary based on the center of the core issue. The core issue will cause you possible problems. Anyway, thank you for watching. As ever, you can subscribe down here. I'm still trying to do this YouTube thing. I don't know why. Subscribe down here. Look at some of the old podcast archive. Join us on the podcast, which is the Blackdog podcast, which you can find at Geek Planet Online. You can also find it on iTunes. You can also join us on our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Blackdog podcast. And that's it. If you like this review, let us know. Put it down in the comments as well. That'd be quite handy. And we'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.